Man does not have a different appetite for food from that of his dog. Welcome to sign 2 of chapter 4 of the Holy Quran, and of course, section 1. Section 1, sign 2 of section 1 of chapter 4 of the Holy Quran. Chapter 4 being Surat An-Nisa, Surat An-Nisa, the surah devoted to women. Let's go. وَآتُوا الْيَتَامَى أَمْوَالَهُمْ وَآتُوا الْيَتَامَى أَمْوَالَهُمْ. To orphans, restore their property. To orphans, restore their property. Into brackets, when they reach their age. When they reach their age, as the age of maturity, the age when their senses are ripe. That's in brackets. ولا تتبدلوا الخبيث بالطيب الخبيث بالطيب. No substitute your worthless things. Your is in brackets. Without it, it reads, no substitute worthless things for their good ones, the orphans' good ones. And the word there is also in brackets. So if I remove the brackets, the two brackets, it reads, no substitute worthless things for good ones. That's the worthless things of the custodian and the good ones of the orphan. ولا تأكلوا أموالهم إلى أموالكم ولا تأكلوا أموالهم إلى أموالكم. And devour not تأكلوا لا تأكلوا devour not, or to eat not literally. And devour not their substance with your own, but we have brackets there. And devour not their substance by mixing it up. By mixing it up is in brackets. By mixing it up with your own. إنه كان هوبا كبيرا. إنه كان هوبا كبيرا. For this is indeed a great sin. Great is kabiran. Huban is sin. Huban kabiran, great sin. 507 is the note. 507. And it's against mixing up the orphan's property, substituting the orphan's property with that of the custodian. Let's go. Justice to orphans is enjoined. And 3 things are particularly mentioned as temptations in the way of guardian. 3 things are particularly mentioned as temptations in the way of the guardian. 1, he must not postpone restoring all his ward's property when the time comes. Semicolon, subject to sign 4.5, see below. Subject to sign 4, subject to chapter 5, 5 subject to chapter 4, sign 5, subject to chapter 4, sign 5. We're yet to get there. Then 2, if there is a list of property, it is not enough that that list should be technically followed. It's not enough that that list of property should be technically followed. Column. The property restored must be of equal value to the property received. Column. The same principle applies where there is no list. The same principle applies where there is no list. Then 3, if property is managed together, or whether perishable goods must be necessarily be consumed, the strictest probity is necessary when the separation takes place, and this is insisted on. Full stop. See also chapter 2, verse 220, and the note to read. We shan't go there because I know very well, I believe very well that is also on orphans and property. All right. Viewers can do that in their leisure time. Let's go to sign 3. وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تُقْسِطُوا فِي الْيَتَامَى فَإِنْكِحُوا مَا تَابَ لَكُمْ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ مَثْنَى وَثَلَاثَ وَرُبَاعَ. If ye fear that ye shall not be able to deal justly with the orphans, marry women of your choice, 2 or 3 or 4, mathna wa thalatha wa ruba'a, 2 or 3 or 4. فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا فَوَاحِدَةً أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ But if ye fear that ye shall not be able to deal justly with them is in brackets, to deal justly with them, with the wives, 2, 3, or 4, then only one, wahidatun, or that which your right hands possess, ma malakat aymanuhum, and that is, of course, slave, that your right hands possess, ma malakat aymanukum, ma malakat aymanukum. Zalika adna Allah ta'ulu. Zalika adna Allah ta'ulu. That will be more suitable to prevent you from doing injustice. Allah ta'ulu, to prevent you from doing injustice. And adna, more suitable. Allah ta'ulu, from doing injustice. Note 508 against not being able to deal justly with orphans. 508. Notice the conditional clause about orphans. Pardon me. Notice the conditional clause about orphans, introducing the rules about marriage. Full stop. This reminds us of the immediate occasion of the promulgation of the verse. Full stop. It was after Uhud, when the Muslim community was left with many orphans and widows and some captives of war. Of course, they did not kill them because they are not supposed to kill them. And captives of war, full stop. Their treatment was to be governed by principles of the greatest humanity and equity. The occasion is past, but the principles remain. Marry orphans if you are quite sure that you will in that way protect their interests and their property, with perfect justice to them and to your own dependents, if you have any. If not, make other arrangements for the orphans. Let's go to the next sign, which is no. There are two notes to there are two notes to sign two, to sign three rather. There are two notes to sign three. So let's go to the next note. 503. That's to prevent you from doing injustice. 509. Sorry, 509 rather. Note 509. The unrestricted number of wives. The unrestricted number of wives of the times of ignorance. Times of ignorance is in inverted commas, double inverted commas. Of the times of ignorance was now strictly limited to a maximum of 4, provided you could treat them with equality. So before the time of the prophet, the maximum number of wives could be any number at all. More than 4. If you can, 10, 20, 30, depending on your power, influence, and whatever. Okay. Provided you can treat them equally. And that is note 509, second note to sign 3. Now, let's go to the next sign. وَآتُوا النِّسَاءَ صَدُقَاتِهِنَّ وَآتُوا النِّسَاءَ صَدُقَاتِهِنَّ نِحِلَّةً. Let me take it again. وَآتُوا النِّسَاءَ صَدُقَاتِهِنَّ نِحِلَّةً. And give the women of marriage their dower as an obligation. It's not nihilatan, it's nihilatan, sorry. Obligation, nihilatan. The words on marriage is in brackets. So without the brackets, it reads, and give the women their dower as an obligation. Of course, you give dower before you marry. So the brackets is reasonable on marriage, on obligation. Nihilatan. فإن تبنى لكم عن شيء منه نقصا فكلوه هنيئا مريا. فإن تبنى لكم عن شيء منه نفسا فكلوه هنيئا مريا. But if they of their own good pleasure remit any part of it to you, take it and enjoy it with good cheer. Haniyan Marian. Mhm. Uh, there is, I can't see any sign to read. No, there's no sign to read. So let's go straight to sign 5. Sorry, I can't see any note to read. There's no note to read. So let's go straight to sign 5. Mhm. ولا تؤتوا الشفهاء أموالكم التي جعل الله لكم قياما وارزقوهم فيها to those weak of understanding. And here in Arabic it is sufaha'u. Sufaha'u generally means fools, but here of course it's not fools, but it's interpreted as weak of understanding or weak in understanding. Mm. For those weak of understanding, give not your property which God has assigned to you to manage. Which God has assigned to you to manage. Allati ja'alallahu lakum kiyaman, to manage. Kiyaman. Wa irzukuhum fiha. Wa irzukuhum fiha. But feed. Irzukuhum feed. وَإِرْزُقُوهُمْ فِيهَا وَإِكْسُمُوهُم. The sentence wasn't complete yet. But feed and clothe them. And clothe them. Iksuhum, not iksu. وَإِكْسُوهُم. And clothe them. Feed and clothe them. إِرْزُقُوهُم فِيهَا وَإِكْسُوهُم. Feed and clothe them therewith. وَقُولُوا لَهُمْ قَوْلًا مَعْرُوفًا. وَقُولُوا لَهُمْ قَوْلًا مَعْرُوفًا. And speak to them words of kindness and justice. So ma'rufan here is interpreted as kindness and justice. Note 510 and also 511. So two notes, 510 and 511 to sign 5. 510 is against weak of understanding, and 11 is against your property. 510. This applies to orphans, but the wording is perfectly general and defines principles like those of chancery in English law and the court of wards in Indian law. Full stop. Property has not only its rights but also its responsibilities. The owner may not do just what he likes absolutely, semicolon. His right is limited by the good of his family, of which he is a member, comma, and if he is incapable of understanding it, his control should be removed. His control of the property should be removed. This does not mean that he is harshly dealt with. Full stop. On the contrary, his interests must be protected, and he must be treated with equal kindness because of his incapacity. Full stop. We go to 11, which is against the property itself. Your property, column. Ultimately, all property belongs to God and is intended for the support of his close relations. It is held in trust by a particular individual. If he is incapable, he is put aside, but gently and with kindness. Full stop. While his incapacity remains, the duties and responsibilities devolve on his guardian even more strictly than in the case of the original owner. Colon. For he may not take any of the profits for himself unless he is poor. Full stop. Unless he is poor, and in that case, his remuneration for his trouble must be on a scale that is no more than just and reasonable. We now go to the next sign, which is sign 6. وابتلوا اليتامى حتى إذا بلغوا النكاح فإن فإن آنستم منهم رشدا فادفعوا إليهم أموالهم. Make trial of orphans. Ibtalu al-yatama. Make trial of orphans until they reach the age. Hata iblagu and nikaha. Until they reach the age of marriage and nikaha. Iblagu and nikaha. Until they reach the age of marriage. If then ye find sound judgment in them, release their property to them. فإن آنستم منهم رشدا فادفعوا إليهم أموالهم. فإن آنستم منهم رشدا. If then you find sound judgment in them, release their property to them. فادفعوا إليهم أموالهم ولا تأكلوها إسرافا وبدارا أن يكبروا to them. Release their property to them, but consume it not wastefully, nor in haste against their growing up. You have orphans and you see that they are growing up. They've passed the age of puberty, and then you start spending their property because they are becoming sensible. No, there are people like that. If they are not there, it won't be in the Quran. Okay. But consume it not wastefully, nor in haste against their growing up, if the guardian is well off. Let him claim no remuneration. Full stop. Let the guardian claim no remuneration. Takulu israfan wa bedaran. Wastefully and in haste. Israfan wa bedaran. Wastefully and in haste. No, in haste. And Yagbaru while they are growing up. And Yagbaru. And Yagbaru while they are growing up. ومن كان غنيا فليستعفف وَمَنْ كَانَ غَنِيًّا فَاسْتَعْفِفْ فَاسْتَعْفِفْ وَمَنْ كَانَ غَنِيًّا فَاسْتَعْفِفْ. If the guardian is well of Ghanaian, let him claim no remuneration. فَاسْتَعْفِفْ وَمَنْ كَانَ فَقِيرًا فَلْيَأْكُلْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. But if any is poor, let him have for himself what is just and reasonable. Ma'ruf. Could be ma'ruf. What is just and reasonable. فَإِذَا دَفَعْتُمْ إِلَيْهِمْ أَمْوَالَهُمْ فَاشْهَدُوا عَلَيْهِمْ وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ حَسِيبًا. When ye release their property to them, take witness. When ye release their property to them, فَإِذَا فَأَعْتُمْ إِلَيْهِمْ أَمْوَالَكُمْ, their property to them, فَإِشْهَدُوا عَلَيْهِمْ, take witnesses in their presence. عَلَيْهِمْ وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ حَسِيبًا. But all sufficient is hyphenated, but all sufficient is God in taking account. Hasiban, in taking account. Hasiban. And that is sign 6. It has the note 512 and 513. It has two notes, 512, 513. 513 is against God taking account. And 512 is against until they reach the age. Hatta is a balagat and nikah, the age of marriage, 512. Your property in italics, colon. Ultimately, all property belongs to, no, 512. 512, the age of marriage. Okay, 512. The age of marriage is the age when they reach their majority. Well, in the book here is majority, but it may be maturity. It may be. But in the book here, it is majority. I don't know if I should substitute that. The age of marriage is the age when they reach their maturity. Pardon me if I'm rather making a mistake. When they reach their maturity. That's all. That's all about it. 512. So let's go to the next sign, which is sign. No, the next note. The next note, 513 to the same sign, 6 to the same sign, 6. 513, which is against God's being his servant account, which is against God taking account. Sufficient for God to take account. 513. 513. It is good to take human witness when you faithfully discharge your trust. But remember that, however fully you satisfy your fellow men is hyphenated, I don't know why. Anyway, remember why you satisfy your fellow men when you give your account to them. There is a stricter account due from you to God. Due from you to God. If you are righteous in God's eyes, you must follow these stricter standards. So, viewer, take note that when I call God, it's actually Allah in the Arabic version. It's rather Allahu in the Arabic version. Since there's no difference between Allahu and the universal God, I use the word God, God, God. There's nothing wrong with that. Mm. Okay. Uh, if you are righteous in God's eyes, you must follow these stricter standards. Mm. From you to God. From you to God. If you are righteous in God's eyes, you must follow these stricter standards. We go to sign 7. رجال نسيب مما ترك الوالدان والأقربون وللنساء نسيب مما ترك الوالدان والأقربون مما قل منهم ومما قل منهم كثر أو كثر أو كثر how little or big kalla little katra big. Okay. From what is left by parents and those nearest related, there is a share for men and a share for women. نصيبا للوالدان ونصيبا للنساء ونصيبا مما ترك الوالدان. There is a share. There is a share for women. There is a share for men and a share for women. نصيبا مما ترك الوالدين. والأقربون مما قل منه أو كثر. Whether the property be small, killa, or large, أكثر, or large, أو كثر. نصيبا مفروضا. نصيبا مفروضا. Or large, a determinate share, and that is nasiban mafrudan. Nasiban is share, mafrudan is determinate, a determinate share. Note 514 is against nearest relations. Akrabuna, nearest relations. Akrabuna. 314. I have insisted, this is the commentator talking. I have resisted, not insisted, pardon me. I have resisted the temptation to translate near to kin. He hasn't used near to kin, as this phrase has a technical meaning in Indian law. Of course, that's at that time. Indian law today must have changed significantly. Technical meaning in Indian law referring to certain kinds of hairs, HEIRS, of hairs, whereas here the people meant are those whose inheritance is to be divided. Full stop. The shares are specific. The shares are specific. Here, the general principles are laid down that females inherit as well as males, comma, and that relatives who have no legal shares, orphans, and indigent people are not to be treated harshly if present at the division. They must have some share if present at the division. If present at the division. And that's note 514. To sign 7. Let's go to sign 8. 8 has no note to read. Let's go to sign 8. فإذا حضر القسمة فإذا حضر القسمة أو فإذا حضر القسمة أولو القربى واليتامى والمساكين فارزقوهم منهم وقولوا لهم قولا معروفا. But if at the time of division, other relatives or orphans, other relatives or orphans, kuruba واليتيمة والمساكين, or orphans or poor are present, give them out of the property. Give them out of the property. Property in brackets. فارزقوهم منهم وقولوا لهم قولا معروفا, and speak to them words of kindness and justice. So hadara al-kismatan is but at the time of division. But if at the time of division, and that is a hadara al-kismatan. Okay. There's no note to that, like I said before. So let's go to sign 9 with one note. وَلْيَخْشَى الَّذِينَ لَوْ تَرَكَ مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّةً ضَعِيفًا خَافُوا عَلَيْهِمْ فَلْيَتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَلْيَقُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا. Let those, into brackets, disposing of an estate, where the brackets is raised, let those have the same fear in their minds as they should have for their own if they had left helpless family behind. So those doing the sharing should have the fear of God. If it were my child, my grandchild, how would I feel in his mind? These questions should come up in their minds before doing the sharing or while doing the sharing. فَلْيَخْشَى الَّذِينَ لَوْ تَرَكُوا مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ, if they have left people behind, of his family behind, the infant having behind, as they should have their own if they had left helpless family behind. Or let me take it again in English. Let those disposing of an estate, in brackets, have the same fear in their minds as they would have for their own if they had left helpless family behind. Lo taraka min halfihim zuriyatan. da'ifan, helpless family. Zuriyatin da'ifan, helpless family. Halu alayhim, falyattaku Allah. Let them fear God and speak appropriate words. So here, marufan, no, appropriate words is sadidan, wa kaulan, waliyakulu kaulan, sadidan, appropriate words. Kaulan, words, sadidan, appropriate. Note 515. Note 515 is against appropriate words. Kaulan, sadidan. Note 515. It is touching argument addressed. No, yes, it is a touching argument addressed to those who have to divide an estate. Like I said before, while dividing, think of yourself. Think when you die and your property has to be divided by others, how would you feel? And then before you go ahead to do the division or the dividing, divide. It is a touching argument addressed to those who have to divide an estate, full stop. How anxious would you be? And this is in inverted commas, single inverted commas. How anxious would you be if you had left a helpless family behind? If others do so, help and be kind. If others do leave helpless family behind, help and be kind. And that was note 515 to sign 515 to sign 9. To sign 9. We now go to sign 10. This last sign of section 1 of chapter 4 of the Holy Quran. Sign 10. إن الذين يأكلون أموال اليتيم ظلما إنما يأكلوا في بطونهم نارا. Those who unjustly eat up the property of orphan, يأكلون أموال اليتيم, the property of orphans, eat up a fire into their own bellies. إنما يأكلون في بطونهم نارا, to their own bellies. They will soon be enduring a blazing fire. They will soon be enduring a blazing fire. وَسَيَصْلَوْنَ سَعِيرًا. وَسَيَصْلَوْنَ سَعِيرًا. Soon. They will soon be enduring a blazing fire. There is no note to that, and therefore we have concluded the section 1 of chapter 4 of the Holy Quran. We have concluded with sign 10. We shall end here. When we come back in our next video or in our next episode, we shall go to section 2. And section 2 begins with sign 11. Thank you very much. May God be with you all.